Hey, in this video, we've got to talk about FedNow and what especially many enthusiasts of Bitcoin say is a tyranny waiting to happen. In fact, that is the popular thing to say right now, that FedNow is tyranny. In this video, we're going to break down my thoughts on where FedNow fits on this scale. So I believe you have this sort of scale. We'll kind of leave FedNow here to sort of place, and we'll kind of leave this in the corner here. And let's say that on the left, you have cash, which we'll just associate with freedom over here. And this is freedom from your government control, freedom potentially from tracking or transparency, right? People don't know where you're tipping, what you're spending your cash on, how you're transporting your cash potentially across borders or otherwise. And it's not only to say that, oh, only criminals like cash. I mean, everybody likes cash. I like having cash. We talk about this and this. Some of the tipping strategies I use with $2 bills. We'll talk about that in this video. I like just being able to say, hey, here's 50 bucks and not having to worry about, oh, I got to send them a 1099 now because the IRS is going to care. Like, all that stuff is annoying and BS. And to many extents, the government tries to overreach way too much. We know that. And the more power we give them, the more they do try to overreach. So this is true. It's kind of like, now they want all your Venmo transactions over 600 bucks. It's annoying. And these are things that we should fight against. But that sentiment that we should fight against the annoyances should remain strong, but also not confuse that a change in banking or a new feature in banking does not necessarily mean we are now in complete tyranny. In other words, you have the left side of the spectrum, which is freedom, cash, and anonymity, right? And then you have the right side, which is tyranny, complete government control, limiting you from spending, export controls, not letting you spend your money on the assets you want, the services you want, the goods you want, or travel across borders the way you want. That would be tyrannical control. And it goes as far as like RFK saying, oh no, well, you're going to, basically not going to be able to spend your money anywhere because the government's going to control where you can spend your money. Because if you don't get a vaccine through the vaccine mandate, for example, via this tweet, well, and if you fail to comply with whatever we say, we'll freeze all your banking opportunity and your money and all that. Obviously, that would be bad. So clearly, over here on the right side, some forms of mandates affecting your money would be tyrannical to an extent that it crosses over into things we should have freedom of choice over, right? Like our own bodies, our health, and the health of those around us, and safety. There are some limits to what we are willing to give up, obviously, in exchange for safety and security via authorizing a government to exist. There's a clear limit to that. Now, obviously, we provide the government with the trade-off. We give the government some of our rights to not live in anarchy, so we have rules and norms, and we have streets and roads and schools, even though our schools suck and a lot of our roads suck, and a lot of our government officials kind of suck and they're in it for the wrong reasons. We know there are massive problems with all of this, but at least it seems like the American version is the least bad of all of them. But really, the question here in this video is FedNow tyranny? Well, I think, and we'll go through this in this video, that what we have in the banking system right now, if you choose to use the banking system, it's an option. So you have things like ACH, wire transfers, Zelle, and then traditional banking deposits, right? A lot of folks are arguing that FedNow is a central bank digital currency. It is not. People are arguing that because, well, RFK, for example, says, the Fed just announced it will introduce its new FedNow central bank digital currency in July. No, FedNow is not a CBDC. There is no central bank digital currency. So you can't really make an argument by saying FedNow is a CBDC and here are all the reasons why a CBDC is bad, because FedNow is not a central bank digital currency. We can make the argument about why central bank digital currencies are bad, but we don't need to here because pretty much all the Bitcoin maxis will provide those arguments for you. That's why I put over here on the right side that Bitcoin is sort of your hedge towards tyranny, which I agree that it is. So I don't disagree that Bitcoin is great. It's a great challenge to the traditional banking system, and it's probably one of the reasons FedNow exists now. But in my opinion, FedNow belongs more here, maybe a tiny little bit to the right. But it's really just another service that takes these antiquated measures, makes them a lot faster and more capable. It is not a central bank digital currency. And even if it were, it's not clear that people would use a central bank digital currency enough because you could still potentially just use cash or the dollar. Really, you get to tyranny maybe when the dollar goes away. And so, of course, this is where people argue that, well, it's a slippery slope, right? So you introduce FedNow, eventually in the future you introduce a CBDC, and then you get rid of cash. Well, let's be clear, at some point in the future, cash will go away. Cash won't exist anymore, and then we'll just exchange, I don't know, metals or rocks or other things that have value that would basically be cash replacements. I expect there will always be a form of a cash replacement. But as you'll see as I go through in this video in more detail here, I think this anxiety over FedNow is highly misplaced. I understand and I agree that complete government control and tyranny is bad. I'm not arguing that tyranny is not bad, but I am making the argument that FedNow is not tyranny, in my opinion. Anyway, here's some more of why I feel. Now everybody's just gonna go, Kevin's just a shill. I knew it. He's a paid shill. I knew he was a Fed boy. That's where he got that New York Stock Exchange vest from. Ever since he launched an ETF, he turned into a shill. Oh my lord. The amount of people freaking out about this is stupid. People are freaking out about FedNow, which was officially launched yesterday. Let me first give you a little bit of background on this and then talk about this. FedNow was launched yesterday. It was launched for development in 2020 to speed up payments and transfers between a sender and a receiver to make them essentially 24/7, nearly instantaneous. Okay? That's it. So, in other words, think of it kind of like Apple Pay, except rather than going through an intermediary like Apple, it just goes through your bank. Or think about it like a Zelle. It's like a quick, high limit, low to no fee, instantaneous payment system like Zelle. That officially launched yesterday. Now, when you actually go to your bank, like JP Morgan, who is a FedNow partner, which maybe I did yesterday, and I'm like, yo, your website says you guys offer FedNow. It says, contact JP Morgan to become a client to get FedNow. I happen to be a JP Morgan client. So I'm like, yo, give me some FedNow. And they're like, we're not ready yet. Like, you all suck. So anyway, like, there's still time before you're actually going to practically see this show up in your life. I would expect it's practically going to take probably to the end of the year to actually get FedNow more popularly popping up around your banks. And you see a little sign, FedNow or whatever. It's just a payment system. The people who are freaking out over this are like, oh my God, the feds are going to take control of your money and they're going to see all the money that you spend and then they're going to freeze your bank account. Damn right they're going to freeze your bank account if you're a dumbass criminal. And you're so much of a dumbass criminal that you're actually using the banking system. You deserve to get your crap frozen. Now I get it. I know then some people are like, but Kevin, this is just going to lead to a CBDC, and we're going to have a central bank digital currency, and then they're going to be able to control everything that we do, and then they're going to make us pay taxes on tipping people, and they're going to get rid of cash. Okay. Those things may end up happening in the future. There is a high likelihood that at some point in the future, we won't get to use cash anymore. Yes, it sucks. It means we don't have to carry around cash anymore that we end up losing. We don't have to go to the bank anymore to lose cash. We don't have to go to stupid, ATMs and pay ridiculous fees to pick up cash. And people are going to be like, but Kevin, how am I going to tip the door person? Don't get me wrong. I like tipping too. I like getting literally $2 bills. In fact, I got a whole stack of them right here. This is, by the way, a great life hack. You have to go to your bank and get a stack of these Federal Reserve notes. All $2 bills. I like the smell of it. It's kind of cool because the government can't see what you buy with it. I get it. Don't worry. You'll have plenty of time left for you to still use your cash to buy the shady shit you want to buy. There'll be plenty of time left for that. It ain't going away anytime soon. Might not even happen in our lifetimes that cash goes away. But at some point in the future, cash will go away. Don't worry. You'll have plenty of time. And FedNow ain't going to make a lick of a difference to your life. So if you're like, being all shady or whatever and you want your cash, or you just want to leverage the power of the $2 bill, consider that if you wanted to give a door person a $5 bill, if instead you gave them 2 crisp $2 bills, every time you do that, you would be saving 20% on your tipping, yet the person would feel like they got even more than $5. See? Psychology of money. Who thought you would click on a FedNow video to think the world is collapsing and you're screwed, only to hear that you should get $2 bills? Anyway, quite frankly, I don't think there's a simpler way to put it. The fear over FedNow is complete bullcrap. Whatever. And even when we go to, even if we were just using Bitcoin to transact or Ethereum to transact, the reality is all that would end up happening is the IRS will go to all of us and go, what's your Ethereum wallet address? And then they'll find all your wallet addresses, and then you'll have the transparent blockchain, which ends up being even more revealing than what you're able to do now. Right now, at least there's some secrecy over what you're spending your money on with your credit or debit card. You don't actually have that on the blockchain once people are aware of your wallet address. Now, sure, you can tornado cash and all that. I get it. But look, what I thought was really fascinating about this is that yesterday the Wall Street Journal was actually talking about how the launch of the FedNow service might actually eliminate the need for a CBDC at all. So in other words, all the people who are like, oh my gosh, the FedNow service is just a step towards a central bank digital currency, we're screwed. The FedNow service might end up being so damn good. So good. And not because the Fed made it. It's because, guess what the Fed did? They called up the banks. They're like, yo, Citi, Wells, B of A, JP Morgan, y'all, starting to compete a little bit here with the cryptos. Why don't y'all make a system that's even better, potentially? And whether or not it's better, I'm not trying to bag on crypto here. I'm just saying, whether or not it is better or isn't better, private enterprise worked in conjunction with the Fed, which I understand might sound scary, probably to some extent is. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of comments like, you just don't know, Kevin. You're only 31. You don't even know. Whatever, man. So people are going to realize, in my opinion, that we're not going to do wires anymore. Like, this will replace dumbass wires, stupid ACH transactions, wires which people freak out about because they have to go to the bank and verify all these numbers, and you can't get your money back if you send it the wrong place, or if you mess up the address of the recipient person. Like, you get the bank account routing number right, but you mess up the address, the wire goes into limbo for a few weeks before it gets returned, and it's a complete disaster. Or you send an ACH, it takes like 3 days to show up, unless you want to pay extra money, of course, and then it'll show up within 1 business day. Or you want to go get a physical check. Oh, okay, yeah, because you really want to go drive somewhere to either go deliver or pick up a check, or worse, put a stamp on it and mail it. Come on, man. All this old crap, wires, ACH, checks, it's all lame, crap, garbage, old school payments. Okay, so what about online bill pay? It's still waiting 5 to 7 days for the check to show up. Okay, well, what about Zelle? $5,000 limit. Now, you might be going, bro, Kevin, man, the limits on Venmo and Zelle, this is good, man. I don't need any more than that. What are you talking about? And I'm like, bro, run a business and try to pay your bills with Zelle. You will hit the limit every time you sit down. It sucks. FedNow could solve that. So it actually makes businesses more efficient. When businesses become more efficient, they spend less time on money, on accounting, and all the BS. And you actually create businesses that are more resilient to, well, going bankrupt in the future, but also let them be more profitable, which allow them to pay their employees more. And I know this is where people go, you say just because the business is going to make more money, they're going to pay their more employees more. That is generally what happens. As the economy makes more money, people's real incomes do rise over time. And so this massive blow up of fear over FedNow is just like, I'm tired of hearing about it. Like, if anything, we might not even need a CBDC anymore. So the slippery slope fears are completely garbage. And I'm personally actually very excited to start using this because I'm tired of all the other crap, especially since we've got the Reg A coming up. We have officially filed, by the way, with the SEC Hint, hint, if you go to sec.gov and you type in house hack under filings, you might actually see a filing there now. Finally freaking filed. But anyway, so I'll be raising money for that. And I'm like, well, we could receive money through wire, check, ACH, or credit card. And I'm like, all of those suck ass. If we could get FedNow, oh my gosh, instant money basically for free that way. It'd be easier for you, it'd be easier for us, it'd be fantastic. So, you know, from an institutional money point of view, I'm like, please, more of this, not less of this. Like, I'm tired of the old crap that we use. Again, this isn't trying to say like, oh, you know, bow down to the government. I don't really, just like, honestly, they shouldn't have labeled it FedNow. That's stupid. You know what they should have done? They should have labeled it Bank Now. You know, like, or Money Now. The fact that they labeled it FedNow is so stupid. That's where they went wrong. And I get it. They're like, but it's like the Fed's clearing services. So you know, if the Fed is the one who validates the messaging and does the clearing, then you know, it should be called Fed. No, you dummies. People don't want to be associated with the feds. You go to any, I guarantee you this, you go to any bar in America and you walk in, I don't have glasses here, you walk in with a black suit and a black tie and you put some black glasses on like you're a Men in Black or whatever, and you're like, it's the feds. Everybody's pissed. Everybody's gonna be like, oh shit, oh man, I don't like this person. What's that suit doing in here? You know, it's like, you don't go to a bar wearing a suit. Mainstream America doesn't want to deal with the feds. We don't want the feds in our lives. We just want to be left alone. We just want to work hard, make our money, spend time with our family, and just leave us the hell alone. That's America. That's a good thing. So calling it FedNow is really dumb, and I think it really like plays into the whole like insanity fears that people have over this, and it's really stupid. Now, I want you to know this, when it comes to AI, time is what's going to make you money, and if you can prove that value to an employer, you'll always be able to be employed. So this is another way of making sure that you don't get replaced by